Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And what you are watching is the Randalls Island Criterium from May the 9th, 2021. And this was an interesting race to say the least. Coming into this thing, I was not optimal. I was not 100%. In fact, I only had ridden once since my last race on May the 2nd. And the reason for that is actually, I did a tune-up ride after that last race on May the 2nd. And then I took Monday off the rest. And then Tuesday, I got my second COVID shot, which actually had me laid up for a couple of days feeling feverish.
You're right.
And I didn't get back on the bike until Friday. I did a 20-mile ride at tempo and then took Saturday off. And then I showed up at this race. My legs felt great. Obviously, they would be fully recovered, having only ridden once in a week. But my cardio was off, and I just couldn't get the engine to work properly. In any event, I showed up, and my objective actually this time was just to be relevant, just to mix it up with the guys a little bit, and try to get my money's worth. And I think I did that. You guys let me know what you think. So what you're watching is the neutral lap. And here we are again. We're about 25 to 26 miles an hour in a neutral lap. And I've learned that with these guys, at least, the neutral lap is not slow. It's fast, but there are just no attacks, right? No one's attacking off the front. Everyone's kind of playing nice, but the speed is high. It's not slow. So if you thought neutral lap was going to be slow, get that out of your head. Windy day, about 10-mile-an-hour winds right now. If facing the camera, the wind, it's like a headwind coming from the left side. It's like I forget what yaw angle that is, but let's say the upper left corner of your screen. So I'm kind of sheltered here, all the way on the right side. And I really wanted to get into the front of the pack on this lap. And it's a narrow road, so I was struggling a bit. But you take your time. You got 2 laps to do it to work your way to the front. I don't know if you guys subscribe to Aviv's channel, but if you haven't, check it out. He does this course quite often, and most of what I learned about Randall's Island, I've learned from watching his channel. It's Aviv, Aviv Maizlin, Maizlin. Sorry, Aviv, if I pronounced that wrong, but I'll post a link to it in the description of this video at some point after uploading this vid. Now, this guy in the green jersey to my left on the yellow Cannondale, he would go on to win the race. He's 2 for 2. He won the first race as well. I checked out his power data. He's 350 watts, 330 to 350 watts for the duration of this race. I mean, the guy is super strong, super aero, super lean, super fast, right? And honestly, he could race in the pro field and most likely do well. This little section coming out of the back is a slight punchy climb, and these guys are accelerating out of there, and this thing beats me up really bad. I hate it. I'm 212 pounds when I woke up this the morning of the race, and I know for certain I'm the heaviest guy out there. As a matter of fact, I probably got the next guy by about 30 pounds. But either way, we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna get it in. So as you can see, I'm still trying to get to the front, struggling a little bit because the pace is hot, and when you're pushing out to the 250 watts, and you're not really making any ground, it's a little bit discouraging. You got these lightweights and they push out the same watts and they pull bike links on you. But that's just the way it goes, right? But one of the things I remember from my Aviv's video is that when you want to get to the front on the neutral lap, you got to take some wind. And I think that's what I'm going to do here in this back section. Um, I'm going to go to the right in the wind, right? I'm completely getting beat up by the wind. And I put in a little dig here, and boom, there I go. I got some momentum, and now I jumped about 10 positions, maybe more, and I'm in the front. So now I want to hold it. I want to hold it here and just try to stay, try not to give up any position because they're going to try. They're going to try to get back to the front, and for good reason. Everyone wants to be at the front because you don't want that accordion effect to pop you off the back. So far so good. I'm giving myself a A- on my effort, being a big guy, gridding up at the front, maintaining position at the front, riding clean, and just getting it in, right? So far so good. Um, I'm gonna show you how this first lap is gonna play out. It's really funny, but I definitely overexerted myself on that next lap that's coming up. Um, yeah, I didn't really pace myself. I didn't look down at the computer. I didn't really look at my wattage, but I definitely pegged myself on the first non-neutral lap, and I paid the price. But it's all good. It was a good workout, and that's what it is. So just watch the remainder of this neutral lap, and I'll start the commentary again shortly. All right, so here we go. We're about to hit the start finish straight. I'm probably 10th wheel back right now, and I need to definitely get back to the front if I'm gonna make this thing happen. So I go right back into the wind, and I managed to get to the front. You can see guys coming up behind me, and the bike is gonna blow his horn. I didn't know if that was our cue to go, or if the track marshal, when he blows the whistle, if that was the cue to go. So I was unsure, but I decided to wait till we approach the start finish line, and that would be the completion of the lap. So once I hear the whistle blow by the track marshal, then it's on. Boom. Baby sprint, effort.
I see you, buddy.
This guy up on my right, he's screaming at me
Yep, I got you, boss. I got you.
because of the turn. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm about to get dropped. These guys are ready to go. So boom, I'm probably about 600 watts right now into the wind. This is a headwind right here. And I'm like, all right, let me catch this guy's wheel. Let me leech a little bit. And he don't want no more. He's like, let's go. So boom, I'm picking it up. And I didn't realize that I baby gapped the field. I baby gapped this field. Unbelievable. If I would have known that, I might have dug a little bit deeper and try to get a whole lap in. But I baby gapped him here. I'm doing about 31, 32 miles an hour. And I'm full speed into this corner. I backed it off down to maybe 26, 27. I paid for that a bit. I should have had more confidence going in there. And boom, I immediately get overtaken by one of the strong riders. And I know the guys behind me are pushing 900 watts to catch me. And right here, I was feeling, my legs felt great, but my cardio was taxed. I just couldn't
Good job,
breathe.
bro.
And I know it has a lot to do with the shot. And I needed to be out the saddle to jump on as well. I just could not get out of the saddle. I just don't know why. I was frozen. So all that work I did, now I'm mid-pack all over again. I must have got overtaken by like 20 guys. But finally, it levels off and I'm back in it. So gonna try to survive the rest of this lap. But when I looked at my data, and I didn't overlay it in this video, I didn't really feel the need to, since this wasn't, I don't know. If you guys want the data, I'll start doing it in future videos, but I just don't think my performance is there yet where it's even relevant. But I was pegged. I was pegged, and we're on lap 3, and I'm already pegged. So I don't know what that's about. My cardio is usually better than this. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe it's the COVID shot. I don't know what it is, but I felt like I should have did better. As a matter of fact, I felt like my performance last week was better. even though I got dropped sooner. So coming out of here, back on the start finish straight, I still haven't recovered. My heart rate hasn't come down. And in the second half of the field, they just leave me. And I just saw them right away. And if I could just recover a little bit faster and put in a dig, I know I can get back on the wheel and survive, a couple more laps. So that was it. I get dropped with these guys. My buddy Mario comes by in the green jersey, and I'll catch up to him later. But at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not recovering. Heart rate's not coming down. So let me just take my time to recover and let me just get a good workout in. So once I get dropped, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Once you get dropped in a race, I see a lot of guys give up. I see a lot of guys quit. I see a lot of guys. I'm not saying it happens here, but I know it happens. Um, Guys just get off, they start walking their bike, and it's over. And I feel like you drove all this way to the race. So what? You get dropped, so what, right? It's hard. Everybody knows it's hard. Everyone knows it's brutal. And take a lot of courage to even strap them up, strap on your cleats and get out there and get some work. Yo, get out there and build your fitness. Use the race to build fitness. You already got your adrenaline pumping. You already got your blood vessels dilated. Use the race, right, to build your fitness. And at this point, this is my mindset. So I got another rider who's got the same mindset. He's out here. He got dropped sooner than I did, and he's out there getting to work. So I'm like, all right, let me catch up with him. Let's do a couple of laps together, right? And we'll get some work in. And right now, we're still 1-1, but we become a group of two. Later on, we catch up to Mario, and then later on, we catch up another ride, and then we're a group of four. And then, as it progresses, we work on our pack skills. So, that's really what it's about, right? Second, out here in New York, I have never seen at least what I would call a true Cat 5 race or a true Cat 4 race. You're always going to have a mix of talent, right? You're always going to have guys in Cat 5 that should be in Cat 3. You know, you're always going to have guys in Cat 4 that should be in a pro field. And I remember years ago I raced in Prospect Park, and someone timed us up the hill in the back, and they were like, "Yeah, we flew up the hill faster than the Pro 1-2 field." And that was back in 2012. I never forgot that. Cat 5 in New York City is not slow. Like, you really need to be strong if you want to win that race. And that's the novice field, right? And here I am in Cat 4, and it's the same deal, right? The top 10 guys can all race in Cat 3 or faster even.
Good, boss.
Um, and I don't know why they don't. I'm sure they have their reasons. I'm sure they're good reasons. Um, maybe they're taking a measured approach to things, right? Maybe they're just taking their time about bumping up, and they have a right to. I wasn't quick to bump to Cat 4. I finally made the jump just because, look, I had my 20 or so races, and this is where they say I should be. So I'm confident in my bike handling. So let's go. So understand that neutral laps are not slow. And the second lesson is, out here in New York, Cat 5 can be just as fast as a Cat 3 field. In some cases, Cat 4 can be just as fast as a pro field. You got guys that are really strong out here. So I'm gonna let this video play, and you can see me and this gentleman, right? We forming a pack of two. We're taking turns, sharing the load. We're gonna catch up to two more riders, and that's it. We're just getting the work in, and that's what it's about. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about Randall's Island. I love the place so far. It's all right-handers. It's super, super technical, tight turns. Um, it's windy, right? You're by the water, but it's a really good course. It's a punchy course, right? It's not like a park race where you can just stay in the middle of a big hundred group peloton, if you will, and coast to the finish line, and get a pack finish. Like here, the field will definitely get strung out. You got guys that are gonna, test the limits of the field, and then it's gonna get stretched out, and then you're gonna have to work to stay in the group. Like, you really gotta earn it here. And I like it. It's a good way to build fitness. and it's a good place to learn your bike handling skills. We'll talk a little bit about my bike. I'm using a 2019 System 6, Cannondale System 6 High Mod with Ultegra Di2. And last week I didn't have too great of a race. My axle didn't thread didn't thread properly, so my derailleur handle was like a little bit crooked on the axle, and it just really screwed up my shifting. So if you go back and watch that other video I posted of the two neutral laps from last week, you're gonna hear clunking every time I come out of a corner. I didn't have that problem this week, but I also suffered a DNF today because of another error I made. And me trying to get every performance advantage that I could possibly get, I tried to run the max PSI that I could to get the least amount of rolling resistance. Last week I ran 90 and it worked out great. Today I ran 100 and I'm using tubeless 25 millimeter tires, and at the speeds that we're going, it generated way too much heat, and you're going to see the mechanical towards the end of this race where the tire just popped right off the rim because of the pressure rise, and it was just too much and it overwhelmed the bead. But I feel like the Cannondale System 6, as far as the characteristics of the bike, is a fantastic Criterium bike. It's got a very short wheelbase, and it's perfect for like corners like the one you're about to see. Like I can take this really tight on the inside, and at speed, if you're in a pack, it's super confidence inspiring because you're not going to run wide out into the guy that may be to the outside of you. So I like the fact that it has a really short wheelbase and the handling is super sharp. It will be scary for a lot of people. They'll feel that it's twitchy, and it's really not a bike for like novices. You should get something a little bit more stable. But if you got some really good bike handling skills, you would love the System 6 in a pack because it just holds its line on rails. It will not drift. Um, Obviously, Aero. It's the most Aero bike that's in production. Supposedly, the new Canyon Aero is beating it for 2021, but only by a single watt. Um, and I believe it. The fact that I baby gapped an entire field of riders who were at least 100 watts stronger than myself at the beginning of that first non-neutral lap shows me how aero the bike is. I mean, I was walking away from them. If I had an engine, if I had real engine, like maybe good lungs and good legs, I might have even been able to break off the front the very first lap. So if you're a really strong rider and you're much more experienced and a lot stronger than myself, and you're looking for a fast bike, I can't emphasize enough how fast the System 6 is. It's truly amazing. It is truly amazing. So here we finally catch up to Mario, and now we're a group of three. So we're gonna take some turns, and we're getting beat up. All of our heart rates are probably over 175 beats per minute. We're going into a 10 mile an hour headwind right now. I'm running 64 millimeter deep knot wheels,
Good
and
job,
I
buddy.
can feel my front end just, the wind wants to blow me around. But we're putting it in that work, right? We out here trying to get it, and I can't remember at this point in the race if I had gotten. No, no, we didn't get lap yet. We didn't get lap yet. I get lap later. I'm not going to show you that, but but I did get lapped. Um, yeah, and then the second, actually the fast group at the front broke off into two. The first group comes around, and then the second group comes around. I tried to latch on to the second group, and then that's when I had my mechanical. So, that's ultimately how this race went. But anyhow, getting back to the System 6, it's I love it. It's a fantastic bike. It's solid, and like I said, I think it's perfect for criteriums just on the merit of its short wheelbase and its razor sharp handling. The arrow is just an added plus, if you're in a pack, I guess it doesn't really matter that much, but if you're really strong and you spend a lot of time in the front, if you like to attack and go off at the front, um, I think you definitely want to be on an aero bike, especially on a flat-ish course, where you're not really doing big climbs. So that's pretty much it. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do because, well, I gotta go pick up a tire and I'm gonna test ride it and make sure, have my wheel looked at by a professional, make sure it's not compromised in any way. If it isn't, I could very well be out here on the System 6 again. Or I may try the Super 6 Evo, with those new Windspace Hyper 38 disc wheels I picked up. And if it rains, I'll just run the CAT 13 with the 38 millimeter Toria Corsa speeds, for the traction. Um, at this point, it's just about getting the work out. So, my power for this race wasn't impressive. It felt like I was doing 275 watts, but it only turned out that it was around 220, 230 watts, for this race. So, and you figure I'm a big guy, 212 pounds, so that's unimpressive power to weight ratio for this field. Um, so just have to keep working on building strength. Let me get my cardio right. Hopefully by next week I'll be fully recovered, wind wise, and then get a more accurate gauge about how well I'm performing. But that was it. That was basically how my race went, and it was a good race, as far as gaining experience and you know get getting some of that rust off from not having raced in about 7 years. But glad to be back out there, and honestly, this is one of the nicest groups I've had the pleasure of riding with. Even guys that come around, they lap you, man. They give you some words of encouragement, like, yo, pick it up. Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's not like, get out of the way, nothing like that. I'm not getting cursed out or anything like that. Um, everybody's been like really encouraging, and it's nice to be able to ride with a bunch that's not so on the edge, which is really cool. Because that was one of my fears about coming back into racing, was like, yo, am I just gonna be a hazard out there? But it hasn't been that way. So for you guys out there that want to race, man, just get up and go for it, man. Just get up and go for it. So I'm gonna leave you with this, and then in a second I'm gonna show you how my race actually ends. So here we go. Here's how my race ends. One of the faster groups come
See you,
around.
boss.
They're lapping me.
Huh?
Guy just said like, "Hey, jump on." So I jump on this wheel. I thought that was really nice of him. And a lot of guys frown on this, and I understand it. If you're out of the race, then you really got no business trying to get on anybody's wheel. But number one, there is an aero advantage by having another bike in the group. It makes them faster, so they do get a benefit. But when you get to jump on, it could be the difference between you finishing 10 minutes off the winning time, or in my case, 3 minutes off the winning time. And so that's what my mindset was. Let me jump on the wheel. Let me try to finish this race 3 minutes down, and maybe get a credit, for finishing the race. Otherwise, if you're 10 minutes down, they're not going to wait for you to finish. They're just going to end it, and you're going to lose. So here's how I DNF. Coming into this corner, this one is about to come, and you're going to hear something go pop. That's the tire coming off the bead. And that's all she wrote. And that's how my race ended. So that was it for me, guys. You're gonna see shortly how it looks. and I'm gonna get this fixed, and I'll be back out there next week. So
Oh, wow.
thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. See you guys next week on the 16th.
You guys see that? My tubeless got unbeaded. Holy cow. Took the corner too tight. Probably too much PSI. So that's gonna do it for my race, guys. Sorry.